This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome to the NCJLA Safety Manager Training. My name is Laura Jennings. I'm the Executive Director for the NCJLA. Tonight we're going to go through our infectious disease plan for our clubs and kind of go over the role of the safety manager and some of the resources we have gathered for them and placed on our website for their use. Right now on the screen you can see that we have the U.S. Lacrosse Return to Play stages, their roadmap for returning to normal competition. Right now in the state of California, for our clubs, we are in phase 2, where we have a small group modified lacrosse in a practice setting happening. That is happening for several youth sports here in California. And we do not have any idea of when that will be moving to stage 3, where we can do more scrimmages or practices with clubs nearby. But hopefully when we do have that information, we can pass it along to you, and these plans will help you move to each stage. Tonight we're going to go over just the stages, the state of California requirements, some of the free trainings that we recommend clubs offer to their safety managers or even some of their coaches, totally optional. The safety manager's responsibilities for this year, the sample documents that we have ready for your club to use, our communication plans, and some best practices and where you can find more resources or additional support. Why is the safety manager critical to operations during a pandemic? The NCJLA, we're very sensitive to the fact that the clubs have a lot going on and that it may be difficult to find volunteers, but with the state of California's public health guidance, these are required. So we do have to have someone that's the point person for your club. You can designate a coach, a parent, paid staff, just a club leader if you want. It's totally up to the club what they would like to do. Our consequences. So if a club does not have a safety manager available, we do have to ask that the game be canceled. It's just not safe, and our league could get in trouble with public health officials, and so we want to make sure that we're very clear that this is required, and we don't want to put the visiting teams in any type of potential exposure or something that would cause them to have to then quarantine or possibly even get sick. So we do ask that you cancel the game if you're not going to have a safety manager. Any questions about that? All right. The purpose of your safety manager. It is a rather daunting title, we understand, and if you read other documents, it could be very lengthy, but really there's 4 reasons why we have a safety manager. First, they're making sure that everybody that is attending your practices or games is getting screened. They're keeping records of who's there. They're ensuring that safety measures are implemented, like there's one entry point so everybody can be screened that comes through, making sure that things are disinfected between groups of players coming through, making sure that participants are wearing a face covering. For the NCJLA specifically, we are not asking for officials or athletes to wear face coverings. And then just that signage is there so people know what to expect. And lastly, the 4th purpose is just communicate. Be able to tell us or public health officials or even your own families, what's going on as it relates to COVID-19. Free training. So NFHS has come out with a great, I think it's about 20 minutes long, course that your coaches, administrators can take, even parents if they would like to take it to learn more about what's going to be done, at the schools or even for your own club. Like I said, it's about 20 minutes long, and it goes over the general precautions and what coaches should be doing for their team. This is required for the CIF coaches. I know that some schools are doing more training for their coaches, but this is just a great one. It's 20 minutes and it's free. Have any of you guys taken this already?
Yep. I have not.
Yeah, Laura, I've already taken it.
What do you think, Kyle?
It's all right. I mean, it's good. It's good and informative. I get a lot more information through DHS, but that's just because I work for them, right? But this is good for parents and administrators and everyone to get a good baseline understanding of what's expected.
Yep. All right. Checklist. So the checklist that we put out for the league, it is a pretty long list, but this is a good list to give to anybody who's thinking about doing this job for your club, and it's 11 things to look at and check off each week to make sure that they're doing for your club. Overall, I just want to emphasize the responsibility is to keep accurate records and to do the screening. We've also put together some sample documents for you, so you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. You can download them from the NCJLA website. The first one is the attendance sheet for practices and games. It has the questionnaire, things that they have to answer. One of the things that I think I've learned over the past couple months is that attendance sheets are great, and you don't have to write every person's answer to this. It's really recording who fails these. And one of the things that I've seen lately are leagues using these questions as a Google form that the kids, fill out before they come, or a QR code that they scan and they certify that they can answer no to all the questions. So it's just a really easy way to keep track of everybody that's attending. And your safety managers can do the paper version if they'd like, or they can use an electronic version. Another document that we have already for you is the safety manager supply list. One of their key purposes is to disinfect and to model, proper safety measures, wearing face coverings. So we put together a list of things that they might want to have in their supply kit, and it's initially around $250 per team. But that really depends on how frequently you're going to have practices or games. But this is a great document to get started with what your club should be looking at having for those volunteers. The last sample document is the notification email in case of exposure. So there's been a lot of questions about, what health information do we have to share, or what information do we have to collect? I want to emphasize that you should not be sharing any health information or, birth dates or ages of players. Really, it's you're just communicating that there has been an exposure. You absolutely do not want to indicate, the actual person. Those are just being sensitive to those players and families. But what's nice is that if your safety manager wants to have a model of what they should be writing to the families, or your club administrator, if you decide you don't want your safety manager to be the one communicating, you want it to be an administrator, these are email letters that you can copy and paste and use in your club distribution. You also can you add your own logo. You're free to use them as needed. We did provide a communication diagram in our original plan. I realize this is rather overwhelming. I think the key takeaway here is that the club safety manager is really just in charge of communicating to the NCJLA and then communicating to their club. the NCJLA is going to take care of contacting the officials organization and the opponents. We felt that having the safety manager have to contact different clubs and different coaches, that would be a burden, that really the NCJLA staff or the assigners were better prepared to reach out to those individuals. So the focus for the safety manager is, really to take care of your organization and leave the rest to the NCJLA. When an official fails a screening, so this is a big question. A lot of people with games have been wondering because, officials travel to and from different sites. The club safety manager should be screening people before they enter a game, and that includes officials. If they fail the screening, they immediately file the report, and the official shouldn't be allowed to enter, and the assigner would be informed, and they would try to send you a replacement official. So we have spoken to the officials organization, and they are considering having officials that are on standby or on call to be able to, quickly fill in if needed. They have also been discussing having these screenings 2 days beforehand, just so that there's less burden on the safety managers the day of. Any questions about the officials? Nope. Okay. Key takeaway for communication. So it can seem like a little overwhelming, but I think the importance here is that the safety manager should attempt to communicate. We understand that there probably will be an instance where they can't get a hold of someone, but just document that you've attempted and then be ready to inform. So the county health officer may not contact you. That's okay, but be ready if they need that information, like who was at the practice and who might have been exposed. Be ready to confirm. So one of the things that we've learned so far with other youth organizations around the nation is that they do want to see that we've attempted to screen, that we've had sanitation in place. Coronavirus is very difficult to contain, and so as long as there's prevention and screening in place, that will protect your club. Some tips for automating your club's tracking and reporting. So if you have a very large club, keeping attendance records could be overwhelming. If you have a lot of games, that could be overwhelming as well. It is a state of California requirement to keep your records and report if something happens. So one of the things we found is Google Forms. If you send that link out, and it can capture the people that are going to attend, their parents are going to drop them off, and you can share with coaches, the spreadsheet, so they can go in and check the attendance to make sure that your players have done the screening questions. It's a great tool to use. It also has a time date stamp, so you know when kids have logged in and certified that they're ready to play. Another tip is don't ask for more information than what is needed for contact tracing. You really do not need anything more than their full name and an email or a phone number. You don't need both. There's a lot of concern about people keeping this information, and our advice is don't ask for anything more than their name and some way for the contact tracer to get a hold of them. The QR code at the main table or entry. So I've seen this at a couple places where there's individual training going on, where the kids, or parents, whoever's going to be there, they scan the QR code and certify that by entering the facility that they do not have any risk factors or symptoms. This would be similar to checking in. And we are actually looking at this for tournaments to see if that would help with checking in, teams as a group. But this could definitely work for someone that is having home games. Lastly, only record the failed screenings to reduce your paperwork and admin tasks. You don't need to write down everyone's temperature as they walk in. You absolutely can, certify that they answered correctly to all the questions, and this would help with reducing how much you're recording every day. If you're looking for additional support, our website has a COVID-19 tab. Our very long club admin version of our plan is the infectious disease modification plan for games and events. That has everything, all the links that you would need as a club administrator. We also have the folder that's under the documents tab. You can check the US Lacrosse Return to Play website. And then you can always call or email the NCJLA staff. We're here to help you. One thing in the document that actually is not posted yet, it will not be up until the season starts, is the infectious disease incident reporting form. So that is on its way. And with that, this is the end of the training. I have some links here for our resource page, everything that if you click on this presentation, you'll be able to see the versions of this and use them to train or use for your club this season. Any questions? All right, thank you, everyone. If you need anything, the website is ncjla.org, and click on the contacts page for staff, and we are happy to answer any questions that you might have about being a safety manager.